Warning: this video contains super awesome content not suitable for people who don't enjoy super awesomeness.
Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Bloodstrike Class. We are already in episode 2, and if you haven't watched the very first episode, I would advise you to check it out as there are a lot of important tips that were mentioned in there. Anyway, I want you to meet the student of this episode, Kaku. As always, I asked Kaku what his problem was, and he mentioned lag and movement, which of course I totally get, but he also added aim issues. So of course, I went 3 back-to-back 1v1s with Kaku, then spectated his full BR match to analyze his gameplay. We are gonna break down all the major moments, mistakes and improvements. Now, Kaku is definitely a solid player and surprised me with his gameplay, but of course he made some mistakes and missed a few things that I expect from almost every player. But hey, that's what the class is for, to make sure Kaku's aware of his mistakes, and for all of you watching, if you find yourselves in similar situations, you will know exactly how to avoid them or what to do in the particular situations. Now, what is my goal here? Of course, it's very simple, to help Kaku and help you, the viewers, get better. I'll be giving honest feedback, pointing out areas for improvement and showing how to play smarter in this situation. Remember, this is a free space to learn, so feel free to drop timestamps and ask questions about anything you need help with. And if you want to be part of the Bloodstrike class, just subscribe to my channel and hit that join button on my profile. I've renamed the membership to the Knox family and made it super affordable for every single person. So now everyone can join the class just by becoming a member, and boom, I'll probably make a video for you. But yeah, before we dive in, a big shout out to my sponsors. Wing Store is the best place to buy and top up your gold in Bloodstrike at an amazing price, supporting all payment methods, and do well to check out the links in description and pinned comment if you want to buy from Wing Store. Alright, before we dive into the 1v1s with Kaku, here's something he doesn't know. Every match is gonna get harder, but not because I'm gonna be a try-hard, no. I'm actually gonna be changing the aim assist levels after each match. So for the first match, he's gonna have beginner aim assist, the second one, expert aim assist, and for the final match, no aim assist at all. Just pure aim and tracking. And as you guys already know, I personally have mastered the 3 of them, so that is not gonna be a problem for me. But let's see how Kaku can handle it. And yo, don't worry, I'm not gonna go all out with my full potential on Kaku. This isn't about winning the match, you know. No, I'm not really about that. It's more about watching how my student plays and helping him to get better. Alright guys, now that you know what's up, let's jump into match 1. Now there were 3 key things I noticed about Kaku. 2 problems and 1 thing we need to improve. First off, he falls for bait a lot. Second, he's pretty predictable, and the third one was his movement, which is pretty decent, but there's room for improvement. As the match started, I pushed Kaku aggressively because he picked the MP5, and because he was playing the high ground, which was a smart move from him. I didn't spot him in time. He landed a lot of shots on me. At this point, I thought for sure he had taken me out, but I knew exactly what to do. I pretended like I was running away, fell back to a spot where I could take cover, and I was expecting Kaku to chase me down since I was low on health. And of course, he did exactly that. Now, when I fell back enough, I turned my back, pre-fired where I thought Kaku would come from, but props to Kaku here because he didn't follow me like I expected. It's almost like he knew I was waiting for him there, but like most players, Kaku is still hungry for the kill, and he still ended up pushing me anyway. As you can see in the clip, he slides out from the different angle, and since my crosshair is already properly placed on him, guys, remember, please always focus on crosshair placement, as it will give you the upper hand 90% of the time that you're in a fight. So yeah, the second I scoped in on him, I took him out. So what went wrong for Kaku here? Well, first, he shouldn't have pushed me. From the high ground that he was on over here, he had a perfect view of the map and could have easily kept shooting me from up there as I ran away. Guys, if you have a good angle and can still spot your enemy, there's no need to rush in and chase them down. Now personally, I've mastered the art of baiting people, so when they chase me down, it's almost a 99% chance that they are gonna die. I've learned how to hold angles and use tight corners to my advantage, and Kaku fell for it. Even though I was low on health, I still managed to take him out. Now, I'm not saying chasing your enemies is a bad idea, no, especially if the enemy is low on health, but Kaku could have done it smarter. When he pushed me, he slide jumped, and if you didn't know, slide jumping messes up your aim so bad. So what he should have done was slide cancel and keep a safe distance. This way, even if we traded the same amount of shots, I'd go down first since I was low. Moving on to the second issue, Kaku is pretty predictable. I saw his footsteps above me, so I just hung around the corner sliding back and forth hoping he's gonna push me, and sure enough, he did. I knew exactly when he was coming, and because he jumped down from the window, it made it super easy for me to land shots and take him out without him even landing a single hit on me. Now what should Kaku have done here? Guys, you need to pay attention to your environment and not only use one way when fighting enemies. All he could have done was just go to the door over here and shoot me from there. If maybe he had done that, the outcome of the round could have been different. Now let's talk about Kaku's movement. He has decent movement, and honestly, he caught me off guard a few times where I wasn't even expecting him to clutch up. But there's one thing I want to point out that could help him improve his movement. Right now his sliding seems random, like he's just hoping, the bullets wouldn't hit him. But there's a way you slide in Bloodstrike that can make a difference, make a huge difference in, I need to emphasize on the huge because it's gonna make a difference whether you're gonna win or lose a fight. If you slide to the right or left in front of the enemy, you're basically making it easy for them to hit you. I also make the same mistake, sometimes just sliding in front of someone, and as you can see, boom, I also died. So what should Kaku do to fix this? I mentioned this in my previous Bloodstrike class video, but the key is to slide around the enemy. Slide side to side but not directly in front of them. By doing this, you're making it harder for them to track you, and you're breaking their line of sight, or FOV, which is field of view. And of course, your aim still needs to be good, but this pattern of movement can really help you survive fights. Now, moving on to the next match, just like I said, I'm increasing the difficulty, so this time around we are playing with the expert aim assist. While going against Kaku in the second match, I realized three things again. First, he's less predictable, second, he jumps carelessly, and third, he doesn't know when or how to rush. Let's break it down. Starting with the first one, less predictability. I think it just shows that Kaku adjusted to my style of play and started playing better, which for me is a skill on its own, adaptability. If you keep dying over and over in a match, you can start to read the pace of the match, whether it's a super sweaty, full of campers, or just a chaotic type of match. And from there, you will know whether to adjust your style of play or maybe just leave the match entirely. But now, for the second issue, jumping carelessly. In the first match, I already showed you guys how easy it was for me to take Kaku down because of how often he jumps. Now, don't get me wrong, jumping is actually a good movement tool, but the real question is, when should you jump? Jumping should be used when going around corners and you just want to check if someone is there. But if you know someone is holding the corner, it's better to slide, as sliding makes you faster and harder to hit. So if you want to check corners like I'm doing here, then you jump. But if you're confident an enemy is behind the corner, you slide. Easy. Jumping also shines in mid-range fights because you can aim, shoot and jump at the same time. To pull this off, you will need to be using 3 finger, 4 finger or more claw finger setups on mobile, or if you're on PC, that's easy. Just right click for aim, left click for shooting, and just tap the jump button. This technique is great because jumping forces the enemy to either miss their shots or hit you in lower damage parts of your body. Take this for example. Imagine I'm shooting this bot at the chest level. Now, when that bot jumps up, look at where my aim ends up, way below the chest. That's huge because different body parts take different damage. Let's take the Uzi for instance. Headshots do 46 damage, chest shots do 31 damage, and limb shots, that's the arms and the legs of course, only do 22 damage. So when you jump, not only are you making their aim hit either your legs or arms, which of course deals less damage, but you're also reducing the chance of getting hit with a headshot. The issue with Kaku though is that he jumps every time he spots me, and the worst time to jump is in close range fights. Unless you have solid aim, you're honestly just giving yourself up as a free kill. And finally, the third problem. Kaku doesn't know when or how to rush. In the final round, I purposely picked the AR-97 and didn't play aggressively. I wanted to see how Kaku would play. He hit me with a few shots, and sticking to my plan of just observing what he would do, the zone started moving. Now, anyone on Kaku's side of the zone would have known my only way into the safe zone was through this part. A smart player would have immediately repositioned to block me off, either by holding the edge of the zone and shooting me as I run out, or just keeping the zone while the pressure is on me. But Kaku didn't do anything. Why? I have no idea honestly. So I ended up getting to the zone and killing him just because he didn't capitalize on my disadvantage. So guys, make sure to always study your enemies and use their disadvantage to your advantage and take them down. And now the third and final match, easily the hardest one. We are playing with no aim assist at all. And honestly, I only noticed one thing, which I kind of expected it, but Kaku's aim was bad. That's literally it. So Kaku, if you're watching this, I seriously recommend checking out one of these videos on the screen. There are tons of tips in there that break down aim mechanics, crosshair placement, recoil control, and all of that good stuff, They will definitely help you sharpen your aim, especially without always having to rely on aim assist. So yeah, check it out. Now for the BR match, at the start, Kaku lands early and pretty safe, no enemies around him, which is honestly a smart drop. But then he picks up an AR-97 and an MP5. Personally, I don't think that's a solid combo at all. But instead of switching them, Kaku just goes off looking for enemies. Quick tip for you guys, okay? Always try to find weapons you're actually comfortable with. Don't just grab the first thing you see and then rush into fights. Now, if enemies landed right on you, that's different. You have to use what you have at the moment and try to survive. But if you have some space and time, take that extra time to get guns that you trust. Kaku and I clearly have different playstyles, and maybe he's confident with the AR-97 and the MP155, but I'm just saying, having the right weapons that fit you makes a huge difference, especially at the start of BR matches. Alright, Kaku pushes in, spots an Emma and tries to land a shot, but of course he misses. Now let me explain why he missed. When he saw the enemy, he first opened his scope and then dragged it towards her, which is completely wrong. What he should have done was first pull his crosshair towards the enemy, then open the scope. That way there's almost no delay in getting your aim locked in on the enemy. This is why I always tell you people, your camera sensitivity should always be higher than every single scope sensitivity. That setting alone makes it way easier to track enemies quickly, especially in intense fights. Now after that, the Emma sees the chance and dips, which is smart. Kaku chases and sure, that's aggressive and all. But remember what I said earlier, 99% of the time, the enemy wants you to chase. it's always gonna be a trap. And in Kaku's case, boom, he's now stuck between two enemies. Then he repeats the same mistake, opening the scope before trying to line up his aim. This time, it actually works and he manages to take down the Emma. But Kaku, my guy, I beg, fix the habit. It may work this time, but not the next time. Right after, the second enemy, a Nova, starts shooting at him with an Origin 12. Now, this is a tight spot. As we all know, the Origin 12 is insanely dangerous in close range. And you can see the panic kicking. Kaku misses every single shot. Me personally, the second I hear that Origin 12 sound, I'm either switching to my AR-97 to get some damage in, or I'm out of there, taking the zipline, regrouping, or waiting until the Nova goes to revive her teammates, then pushing back to catch them off guard. But Kaku stayed too long in the fight. He only decided to run after running out of ammo and having to reload. Luckily, and I mean super luckily, he manages to escape. But bro, that could have gone against him real quick. Moving on, now you're gonna understand exactly why I said earlier that Kaku needs to find solid guns from the start. So he sees footstep indicators and starts following them. That's good, but the enemy retreats using Shadow Strike, probably knowing that Kaku was tracking him. Kaku tries to land some shots, but since he's using a weapon with high recoil, he clearly doesn't understand the shots are just flying everywhere. No control, no connection, so the enemy escapes. Now here's where things get wild. Kaku decides to rush. He knows the enemy is behind this truck, but he starts reloading right in front of it. Like bro, what? Reloading before a push is smart, yes, but do it behind cover or while jumping side to side like this. Not walking straight into the danger. Of course, the enemy sees this and starts firing. Kaku cancels the reload and the enemy randomly decides to push, then runs away mid-fight. I don't understand what the other guy was doing either, but even with the free chance, Kaku still misses every shotgun shot and gets taken out. Now, let's rewind. Imagine if Kaku took that early game breathing space he had to find better weapons. Guns he could actually control. That whole fight would have gone differently, guys. After Kaku redeploys, he lands pretty smart again, hits up a safe building, loots up and immediately goes on the move. First enemy he sees gets clapped instantly, most likely a bot, but hey, at least it gave him enough cash to grab his loadout, which he did immediately. I gotta say that's something a lot of low and average players skip. Your loadout is basically your lifeline, don't sleep on it. So Kaku grabs his MP5 and goes hunting. Then he hears his teammates getting knocked and instantly moves towards them. Very good support play right there. Peeks through the window, scans the area and spots the enemy that took out his teammates. Now this part was smart, he didn't just push blindly, he scanned, got info first, I love that. But then comes the aim mistake again. He spots the enemy and instantly starts shooting before placing his aim on them. So instead of catching the enemy off guard, he basically alerts them without hitting anything. He tosses a fire nade, good thinking. Then he activates his skill, but it doesn't hit anyone. I could literally hear footsteps nearby, so maybe Kaku should have charged up his skill a bit longer so it can have damage on the enemies. Then he peeks through a different window and throws another nade. This is what I like to see, smart utility play. Guys, when you know an enemy is nearby but you can't see them, use your nades. It's a clean way to get info or inflict some damage before pushing. His nade hits and he gets the attention of the enemies. So an enemy natural pushes in, Kaku times a slide perfectly just as the enemy enters and with solid aim takes him out clean. But right after that, an Emma starts spraying him from the window. Kaku instantly dips behind cover to reload, just like I mentioned earlier, then slides right back out to clean up the kill. After that, he's facing the Emma now. He had nice movement, great angle awareness, he didn't panic push, just took his time, landed shot and got the job on Emma done. But of course, there's one more. Just as he took the Emma down, this time a Volt hits him with his skill and fries Kaku's shield. Now at this point, Kaku's already dealt with two enemies and the pressure is kicking in heavily. He's low on shield, out of ammo and tries to retreat to reload. But this is where panic sets in. He struggles to jump out the window, wastes time, and then gets beamed while trying to escape. Eventually he does jump out, but now the enemy is right on him. And I have to give Kaku props here, because instead of running away or running in a straight line or all of that, he breaks the enemy's camera by sliding opposite of where the enemy thought he would be, landing a few shots. But unfortunately the enemy already has a yellow Evo shield maxed out, very tough to break that. But Kaku tries to slide again, but this time his back is to the enemy, and that's a fatal mistake. Guys, when you slide, always make sure the enemy is in your line of sight. You can use the box method, keep circling around the enemy and stay unpredictable, but always keep your eyes on them. Sadly, Kaku loses the fight here, but yo, he gave that squad a real headache. Solid effort, Kaku. Kaku lands back in and grabs himself a sniper, and yeah, the MP155 again. We already know how that's gone before. Anyway, he wastes no time and heads straight to the next building where he hears some action, and to his surprise the same Volt that wiped him earlier is right there waiting. Is he gonna have revenge? Let's go. Now watch what Kaku does here, and I want you all to pay attention. He doesn't slide just in front of the enemy left and right, he slides past them side to side, which breaks the Volt's camera again and lets Kaku get a clean shot to the back. That's exactly the kind of movement I was talking about earlier. He goes for a second shot with the MP155 but misses. No surprise here. And this is where I respect Kaku. He doesn't try to force a weapon he's not comfortable with. He immediately switches to the sniper, and bro, this man hits 2 clean quick scopes and drops the Volt just like that. Then the Volt's teammate and Emma shows up for backup, but because Kaku was bold and engages her, she panics and runs away. Imagine Kaku ran instead of switching to the sniper. That whole fight would have gone another way. He finishes his skill, knows the job is done, and smartly falls back to heal up. Perfect timing. You can tell he's adapting mid-game, and that's the kind of growth that turns you from average to dangerous. Alright, Kaku's teammate is getting attacked, so he runs in quick to help. Again, solid support move, and I totally rate it. But what I really like here is that he doesn't just rush into the room like a headless chicken. This guy starts hip firing through the door first, keeping it safe. Then when he feels like the enemy is taking a while to go down, he switches to ADS and finishes it clean. Simple but smart. Sometimes that little switch up between hip fire and ADS can save your fight. And I believe Kaku watched this video on the screen about ADS and hip fire, that's why he understands it very well. After Kaku healed his teammate, he steps outside and guess who he sees landing back? Yup, the same Volt he's had beef with all game. Now to be fair, Kaku clocked the footsteps real quick and actually made a smart move by pushing back into the building to get ready for the fight. But then out of nowhere, he lands a few shots and then just dips. For absolutely no reason. Like bro, why? That Volt's literally just redeployed, no descent's gone. This was the freest skill of the whole lobby and Kaku just lets it slide. Maybe he was just feeling merciful or just got tired of farming kills from the poor guy. But Kaku, listen, this is not a playground, it's a battlefield. Moving on, one thing I've noticed about Kaku that I really like is how cautious he is when moving around. Like my guy is continuously scanning his surroundings, not just sprinting around blindly. That's awareness, solid. Anyway, he spots someone landing, hits a shot, and boom, he knows that that's his sign to push. No hesitation, he slides in, spots the first enemy, takes her out clean. And here's where I gotta give Kaku props. Kaku's aim transfer is actually nice. A lot of y'all would have dropped the first enemy and just fully gone forward to rush the enemy. But nah, Kaku keeps his aim flowing, locks onto the next target instantly, and drops them too. Then, as he's turning to leave, someone tries to sneak on him, but his awareness is on high alert. He reacts instantly, slides back and beams the dude. That's how you stay alive in a chaotic fight, guys. movement, awareness, and keeping your cool. Moving on, Kaku decides to head upstairs and is most likely hearing footsteps, so he turns around quickly. He spots a Zero, but the Zero manages to shadow strike and get away. Now this is where I really like what Kaku does next. He can clearly hear the enemy's footsteps on the left running towards the zone, and instead of just blindly chasing, he plays smart and tries to lock the enemy out of the zone. So what does he do next? Patiently waits at the zip line, expecting the enemy to take it, which is smart. That's a common escape route that I believe everyone uses, but I'm guessing the Zero is healing up while trying to make it to the zone. Although Kaku catches on quickly, since the zipline didn't get used, he instantly rotates to the edge of the zone, and he reads that play very well, and boom, he gets a free kill. Now, I believe that you guys can clearly see the reason why I always emphasize that you should always use a headset in Bloodstrike. You can see how Kaku used the sound very well to outplay this enemy and keep him out of the zone and managed to kill him at the end. Now, Kaku lands over here and tries to land a shot, but clearly he can't land the shot properly because his crosshair is not placed on the enemy well. I mean, he's kind of rushing there, but I totally understand because almost everyone makes the same mistake. Now, looking on here, he spots the loadout, probably planning to go for the loadout later, which is actually smart, knowing what's around his surroundings. But what he actually does next actually pisses me off, as he decides to toss a smoke grenade. I don't know why he did that, as a smoke grenade is simply just a support to his own enemies. After that, he goes up here and tries to snipe someone who's in the air. And once again, there's no need to raise alertness on yourself. You're not even in a good position. There's no reason to let the enemies know like, oh, I'm over here, come kill me. It's totally unnecessary, especially since the spot he's staying is completely open and it's a bad spot. If an enemy spots him, it's super easy for them to take him out. Now, after he reloads, he finally has a good idea of throwing the right nade in there. He tosses 2 fire grenades, then leaves the place to go get his loadout. While trying to get his loadout, you can clearly see that one of the fire nades he threw earlier is starting to damage enemies and even takes one out already, which is absolutely amazing. That's a free kill. And now Kaku can have the advantage to push immediately after healing. But you can see he's scanning the area carefully, which is super important. Guys, always assess where your enemies are before you push. Throughout Kaku's gameplay, I've noticed that he's really been doing this, staying aware of his environment and enemy positions, which is honestly very smart. Now, look here, he spots a turret and takes it out before pushing. And the moment he destroys it, you can see he immediately pushes in, which is a solid move. And I want you all to notice something here. If you remember earlier, Kaku's sniping wasn't that good when he was using the ground loot, but now he's picked up his Kar 98 from his loadout. Like I said earlier, using your loadout is super important. You can see that his aim is a lot tighter, and you can tell he's more comfortable and confident with the gun that he's using and that he builds for himself. And you can see he lands his shot exactly how he wants to. That's the power of playing with your own loadout. Now he goes down and tries to support his teammates. I mean, he doesn't get the kill, but it's totally fine. The support alone is very good. In general, supporting your teammates is super important. And now you can see he hears a parachute above him in the sky, and he still looked at it to be sure if it was an enemy parachute or if it was just one of his teammates. That awareness is really good. He heard the parachute sound and also saw the indicator on the screen, so checking it out just to confirm if it was his teammate was a nice move from Kaku. Then the kill he got earlier by sniping stands up and tries to run away, but Kaku is in a rush here. He doesn't take his time to probably land the shot, which I think is a mistake. This was literally a free kill that if he had just taken a second to aim, even at the leg, chest, or literally anywhere, he would have gotten the knock again. But he rushed and let the enemy escape. Now you can see he tries to still make up for the kill and tries landing, some shots while the enemy is running off. But then he notices a hang behind him and turns to attack. And again, just like I said earlier, Kaku is not staying calm. He's not taking his time to finish enemies properly, and I think the issue is the pressure of the end game. I think he's starting to panic, probably thinking he's going to lose the match, and maybe especially because I'm spectating him, he feels like he has to perform. But in the end zone, guys, your best friend has to be calmness. You need to stay calm, slow your breathing. It really helps. If you're a gyro player and your hands are shaking, your aim will be completely off. And I think that's exactly what's happening to Kaku here. Although I don't know if he's, a gyro player, but I feel, he's panicking a lot, and that is causing him to miss a lot of shots. Anyway, luckily for him, his teammates comes in here for the support, which is really nice. Now, what Kaku does next is super impressive. He hears enemy footsteps towards the building and he pushes immediately. The first thing he does around the corner, and I want you guys to take notice of this, is he slides, and you can clearly see that he misplaces the enemy's crosshair. The enemy is looking the wrong way, and that gives Kaku the upper hand to land the shots first. From the gun sound, the enemy is using an Origin 12, so Kaku jumps back to the position he came from, which was really a smart move. The enemy turns again to try to hit Kaku with some very heavy shots, but Kaku's movement makes it easy for him to take the enemy out. And then he hears more footsteps downstairs again. His awareness is on point. That's something I'll always give Kaku credit for. He hears the steps and doesn't waste time. While everyone else is panicking in the end zone, Kaku takes advantage and pushes the vaults that he spots downstairs. Now, I can already tell Kaku's main issue is ADS. We've seen him miss a lot of shots, anytime he scopes in. And Kaku, I'd honestly advise you to tweak your sensitivity. It looks like your ADS sensitivity is too high, which is probably why your aim is super shaky anytime you scope in. But just like I said before, when Kaku pushes and uses the hip fire, he easily lands his shots. So it's either the loadout he's using is belts for hip fire accuracy, or he just generally struggles with aim while scoping in. Now, someone shoots Kaku from behind, and once again his awareness kicks in. He immediately slides away, lands some shots, and then slides back again to reposition. His HP is low, but luckily once again his teammate shows up, and distracts the enemy, giving Kaku the breathing space, to finish the fight. Now, one more thing I liked here is that Kaku didn't forget about the other enemies that he took down. He remembered every player that he knocked, and noticed that one of them is getting revived. He pushes in, spots the revive and immediately takes the advantage. Boom, he got a free kill. It's hard to move away while you're reviving, so Kaku capitalized on that and completely wiped the squad. That is a lovely squad wipe, and I wasn't expecting a student to start wiping squads from the first Bloodstrike class video that he has, but I think Kaku is already a solid player, and I absolutely love that. Anyway, Kaku's last enemy is basically a free kill because the enemy just landed back and all Kaku had to do was chase him down and clean up the kill. Easy finish. Alright, so let's wrap this up real quick. Kaku, I have to give it to you. Your movement is actually clean, like you're always on the move, which is really good. Always repositioning smartly, and your sound awareness is mad impressive. You are catching footsteps from every direction and reacting on point. Plus, your decision making in the end zone is pretty solid. You really know when to push and when to play it smart in Battle Royale, but in the 1v1s, you really were not doing that well. But anyway, let's not ignore the downsides that you have. Your aim was a bit shaky at times, especially when you ADS, and there were moments in the game where you kind of played too aggressive or made some predictable moves. Also, some of your skills and throwables felt a bit wasted or random, meaning that you need to know when to use your nades or when to use your skills. So that's something to work on too. Overall though, you have great potential, like really good potential, bro. You improved a lot during this match alone, learning from your mistakes. So with a few tweaks to your sensitivity, more confident engagement, you need confidence, bro, and you need better skill usage. I honestly think you're gonna dominate, in future matches. Now, to everyone watching, if you think your gameplay is better than that of Kaku's, or you just want to see where you stand, go ahead and get the channel membership, which I made highly affordable for everyone, and then reach out to me on Discord. Anyway guys, this is Bloodstrike class, and I'm breaking down real gameplay every episode to help you all level up your gameplay. Next episode could be you, who knows? So like the video, subscribe if you're new, share it to your noob friends who need lessons, get the channel membership for yourself, and turn on post notifications, and I'll catch you all in the next class. Peace.